الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم إنا نسألك يا الله يا الأحد يا الواحد يا الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد أن تغفر لنا ذنوبنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the all merciful, the very merciful. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Say, the truth is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Allahu Samad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is besought of all, needing none. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He neither begot anyone, nor was he begotten. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And equal to him has never been anyone. The surah which is just been recited is known as Surat al-Ikhlas, one of the shortest and most famous and common surah of the Quran Sharif. The time that we have today can't do justice in the explanation of this surah. So inshallah we'll try to cover as much as possible by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The translation which was just done is taken from Hadith Mufti Taqi Uthmani Sahib Dawud Barakatuh's Kitab Quran translation, the Noble Quran by the Mufti Taqi Sahib. There are a few facts of this surah. Number one, first of all, that this is the 112th surah in the Quran. So there's 114, so this is 112th. There's 4 verses in this surah, Makki surah. There's also an opinion that is also a Madani surah as well. Yes, 15 words, 47 letters. In this surah, the word Ahad has only come once with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's in this surah. And the word As-Samad also comes with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah. And the word Allah comes in this surah, and this is the last surah where the word Allah comes. After that, in the remaining part of the Quran, the word Allah does not come. So this is the last surah where the word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned in one of the verses of the Quran. Now the brief introduction to today's lesson is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created every human with 2 matters. We have the physical body and we have the spiritual body. The physical body requires nourishment. It requires food, it requires drink, and other aspects as well it requires. So if you talk about food, for example, if a person has some sort of a favor of food, if it's in front of him, prepared for him, he will consume, he will eat, he will enjoy himself. That will nourish his physical body. In a desperate situation where he's in a place where the food that he normally consumes and has is not present, is not at his reach, he may be in the jungle, he may be in the desert, there's no way to reach the normal type of food he has. The physical body at that time also requires nourishment, so he will consume and eat whatever is present in front of him. So even if it's grass, even if it's leaves, even if it's a dead animal, he will consume that to nourish the body because it requires that nourishment. For it to stay alive and for it to function, it requires. So whatever's in front of him, he will consume that. So in the first situation, the best favorite food is in front of him, he'll enjoy that food. In the second situation, where in the desperate situation, he doesn't have any food, but because of to survive, he will take whatever is in front of him for him to survive. Now the spiritual body, the inner self, also requires nourishment. Every child that's born has this nourishment, is born with this nourishment. And what is that? It requires and he looks out for some being that also gives him that strength. Some people who don't focus on this, they look for this being, they look for this power, they look for this energy in worldly aspects. Some people will think that wealth is the thing that's nourishing their spirit. Some people will think fame is nourishing their spirit. Some people will think their country is nourishing their spirit. Some people will take other means, sun for example, the universe, the moon, the stars. They will think that this is that being that's nourishing their spiritual side. In Islam, so before that, if you look at to a way of nourishing the spiritual body, we have the religions. If you look at every single religion, it will guide you towards that being, towards that energy, which will nourish your spirit, the spiritual side, your inner self. In this day and age, the other religions, if you were to study, they have very limited advice and guidance in order to achieve this spiritual being, and this being that you need to you're thirsty for and you're looking out for. It is only Islam that has a complete guidance in order for you to search for that. So it is important for us to realize that if we want, as you mentioned, the physical body, nourishment of the food of the physical body is the food. But nourishment of the spiritual body is our deen, is our Islam. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we need to look for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to connect ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we need to do this from young age, as early as possible. Otherwise, what happens is that because our children are exposed to many materialism in front of them, then they are confused when they grow old. When they are exposed to, for example, there are many, ways they are exposed to, for example, in movies, in dramas, they have this concept of gods. You have Star Wars, you have other, movies and dramas and episodes and seasons that people watch where they'll have different types of gods. And they are competing with each other, they are fighting with each other to become the stronger one. So the god of war, god of Zeus and Ares, they will compete with each other, and all of a sudden the Wonder Woman will come up and kill either other one. And so the concept of God is in front of children in that way, that who's more stronger, who can become the stronger one. But in Islam, there is no such thing like this. So from young age, we need to understand. Now, to explain the concept of Ilah, the concept of God, Suratul Ikhlas is one of the most fundamental and most complete and comprehensive surah. So if we understand the Suratul Ikhlas in its detail completely, inshallah we'll understand the concept of God. So this is just a brief introduction to this surah. Now the background of this surah, why was this surah revealed? We have a couple of opinions. One of them is that the Arabs at that time who were mushrikeen, they came to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and they asked Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that, look, we believe in Allah, you believe in Allah, so what's the dispute? What's the dispute? Tasif lana, explain to who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, explain to who your God is. Another opinion is that the people of Makkah, they came and asked about the lineage. Generally, they used to boast about each other, about the lineage. So this, because of this family, this person or this family has more higher rank. So they asked the Prophet ﷺ that what is the lineage of your God that you're inviting us towards? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He revealed this surah and He gave the answer in this surah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is told that tell them and give them the answer that Allahu ahad. That the truth is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Allahu samad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is besought, needing none. So in the first verse in Allahu ahad, we have the belief of tawheed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. So this verse negates all types and concepts of shirk, ascribing partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the second verse, Allahu Samad, this ayat is giving the answer to those who think that the gods are in need of something. Well, that's one of the common translation for as-Samad is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is independent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is independent. This is one of the common translation done. However, the word independent doesn't do justice to the word as-Samad. The as-Samad is a very deep word. The word just independent doesn't do justice to it. So Mufti Taqi Sahib Dhammat Barakatum, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is besought of all, needing none. We'll do a brief explanation later on. Lam yalid, he neither begot anyone, nor was he begotten. So this is the answer to those people who came to ask Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the lineage of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about the God of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he wasn't given birth and he didn't give birth to anyone. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, equal to him has never been anyone. There's no one ever been equal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now in the first verse, we have, first of all, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is told that you tell the people. So this is a sign of his prophethood, that he's been told to tell and give the answer. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. At the time, there are few groups of people. You have one group of people who deny the existence of a God completely. There are people who deny the existence of God completely. Number two, there are groups of people who don't deny the existence of God, but they deny the existence of him being necessary. That it's not necessary for him to exist anymore. So this is another group of people. The third group of people, they are that who believe in the existence of a God. They also believe in the existence of him being necessary, that he has to exist. However, they deny the attributes as to be perfect. They deny for the God's attributes to be perfect. There's a fourth group who believe in the existence of God. They believe that it is necessary for him to exist. They believe that his attributes are perfect. However, they don't believe in the oneness of one God. They believe that they are partners with this one God. So in this one verse, just saying by Allahu Ahad, he's refuted all of these types of beliefs. He has refuted all of these types of beliefs just by saying Allahu Ahad. Another point here is that the word Ahad has been come with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse, and you have the word Al-Wahid. Now there's a discussion about why is the difference between Al-Wahid and Al-Ahad. Just to make it simple, the word Al-Ahad, if you remember the background of the story, the background of the surat is that they came to ask Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they had in their mind that their gods were made out of clay, their gods were made out of metal. So now when you make something out of metal, for example, you have this patla, this table in front of me is one patla, but it's got so many parts to it. There's so many parts to this one patla. Like this, they thought that, okay, if their God is made out of clay, their God is made out of metal, it's possible that the God of Nabi is made out of gold, the God of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is made out of silver. So this is the reason why they asked that, okay, explain to us who your God is. So in here the word Al-Ahad has been used in such a way that the Al-Ahad means that he has no parts at all. It is complete one. He's the sole one. There's no parts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. You cannot divide, you cannot separate. So in this parla you can divide into many, many parts. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying by the word Ahad, he said that they can't divide, they can't separate. There's no separation, there's no parts in the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Samad, again, the word As-Samad, it gives the answer to those people who thought that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be in need of something. For example, if the God is made out of gold, is in need of gold. If it's made out of silver, is in need of silver. Secondly, that means that the gold existed first, then the God was made. The metal existed first, then the God is made. The clay is existing first, then the God is made. So this answer is given in the word Allahu Samad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of anything. He was there when there was nothing there. And he will be there when nothing will be there. So Allah Samad, that this is Allahu Samad. Imam Tabrani rahmatullahi alayhi has gone into the explanation of the word As-Samad. And then he says that the chief who has no superior and to whom the people turn for the fulfillment of the desire and needs. Thus all people depend on him, but he does not depend on anyone. So this is the word As-Samad. That everybody depends on him. Everything depends on him. But he doesn't depend on anything. He doesn't depend on anyone. This is the word Allahu Samad. So this is given the answer to those people who thought Allah is made out of any material, any God. Again, this verse, and if you connect the word Al-Ahad, it gives you more meaning of oneness of Allah. We've already mentioned that the Ahad is a comprehensive meaning of oneness of Allah. And by saying As-Samad, it gives you more meaning to the word, or to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third verse, Lam yalid wa lam yulad. There are people who believe that there is a son of God. Some people attribute Isa alayhi salatu wasalam to be part of God, a son of God. There are Jews who believe that Uzair alayhi salatu wasalam was son of God. There are the pagans, and there were people who believe that the angels are daughters of God. So this ayat is given you. The second thing is that when you are a child of somebody, you are in need of the father. You can't exist without the father. And generally when there is a father, he is in need of a child. He longs for a children. So that means there's in need of somebody. So when you have one child, he is in need of the father of the parent to exist. And when there is a parent, when there is a mother and a father, they long for a child. So they also have this dependence on the children for their to continue and for them to live. But this ayat is telling that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is said that he wasn't given birth to, and he hasn't given birth to any being at all, anything at all. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ. And equal to him has never been anyone. In this in this verse, the word kufuwan has been used here, that there is no example, there is no similar thing, there is no equal in any rank, in any position, in any attribute. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his being is one, in his attributes is also one. So there's nobody equal to him in his being, there is nobody equal to him in his attributes and in his qualities as well. So this is just a brief tafsir of Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Surat Al-Ikhlas. Now there's a good connection between Surat Al-Kafirun that we discussed last week and Surat Al-Ikhlas we're discussing today. In Surat Al-Kafirun we negate all type of shirk. We negate all type of shirk, and Surat Al-Ikhlas we affirm tawheed. This is why we should try to read Surat Al-Ikhlas in the first rakat of Fajr Sunnah and Surat Qul Huwallahu Ahad, in the second rakat of Fajr Sunnah, and also in the Maghrib. So we begin our day with purity. And along with that as well, if you know the fifth kalima, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min an ashrika bika shay'a wa ana a'lamu, till the end, that also helps us to strengthen our iman and free ourselves from all types of shirk. And also the another connection here is that in Surah Al-Kafirun we mentioned that la a'budu ma ta'budun wa la antum. There we mentioned that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that I am not going to worship who you worshiping, and you're not going to worship what I worship. So the question is that who do you worship then? So the answer is given in Surah Al-Ikhlas, that this is the being that we worship in Surah Al-Ikhlas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his qualities that we mentioned. So this is the one we worship. A few of the lessons that we learn, first of all, is that the concept of tawheed is complete and very comprehensive in this one surah, Surah Al-Ikhlas. Number two, shirk is the opposite of tawheed, so we must renounce and negate all types of shirk. And obviously types of shirk are there as well. The shirk jali and shirk khafi, which are open and apparent and hidden. So the types of shirk as well, we negate all types of shirk. Another lesson we learn is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one who's going to fulfill our needs. We are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we should try to look for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should try to connect ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should try to make our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stronger and stronger. One important lesson we learn is that we need to do the mudhakara of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our family members, with our children. When we don't do mudhakara of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at home, then our children are exposed to shirk even at young age. From very young age they are exposed to so many khurafat and so many evil outside there. One of them is the attack of shaitan, which is on tawheed. So it's important for us to try to make ourselves understand the importance of nourishing our children correctly, and we should also explain to our children slowly. We should grasp the moment. You know, in Imani Mudhakara, there's a syllabus on this from South Africa, where they say that wherever you get the opportunity to explain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should take that opportunity. For example, you're going into the park, you see the nature, you see the trees, you see the grass, you see the duck, etc. Whatever you see. So you grasp those moments, you grasp the attention of our children to who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. You have an apple. So every one, in one basket, you'll have 10 apples. Every apple will be different in its color, in its taste, maybe in the size as well. So you explain wherever is possible the concept of tawheed to our children. And if you do this, then inshallah we'll be able to protect our iman, protect the iman of our children as well. Now one question could come to our children's mind is that I can't see Allah. How can I believe in Allah? Very simple answer. There are so many things that we can't see, and we believe in it. We can't see wind, but we believe in it. We can't see love, but we believe in it. We can't see cold, but we believe in it. We can't see heat, but we believe in it. We can't see gravity, we believe in it. We can't see thoughts, but we believe in it. We can't see magnetic fields, but we believe in it. We can't see time, but we believe in it. We also believed in coronavirus, but we can't see it, but we believed in it. So like this, the concept of not seeing something and I don't believe in it is very absurd, is not valid. We can't see the earth round, but we believe the earth is round. And so many examples can be given. In our children's level as well, we can give them the understanding as well. So many things that they believe but they cannot see. So like this, if we say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can see the effects of these things. So like this, we can also see the effects of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, just to conclude, the virtues of this surah, there are so many. There's actually one book compiled, the student of Allama Suyuti rahmatullahi alayhi, he has compiled 40 virtues, 40 ahadith in relation to this surah. One of them is that to have love for this surah will take a person into Jannah. To have love for this surah will build our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said that this surah is equal to 1/3 of the Quran, meaning that in the Quran there are 3 main themes, which is the tawheed, the risalat of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and akhirat hereafter. So tawheed is 1/3 of the Quran. So in this surah, 1/3 of the tawheed is mentioned. Now, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam then he said in the hadith that reciting Surah Al-Ikhlas 3 times will give you the reward of reciting the entire Quran. However, that does not mean that we just suffice in reciting the 3 times Ikhlas only. The example of this is that if a doctor says to you that you've got multivitamins tablets here, you're not going to just sit there and have multivitamin tablets every single day. No, you're going to eat other things as well. Like this, Surah Al-Ikhlas will give you reward of entire Quran by reciting it 3 times. That does not mean that we don't recite the rest of the Quran as well. It's just that this is the mercy of Allah, that He wants to reward us. He wants to give us. You've got the time to go to the Qabristan. We only got 5 minutes. We're not going to sit there and recite entire Quran. So we go there, recite it 3 times. We recite it 12 times. We get the 4 rewards of 4 Quran. So this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another virtue of this is that to recite it 10 times, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will build a home for us in the Jannah. Umar radiallahu anhu said that, okay, I will recite so much. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give a lot as well. Then there are other virtues of reciting it 50 times, reciting it 100 times. One of them is that when a person recites Surah Al-Ikhlas at the time of entering the home, that home and the neighbors will be protected from poverty. So when we entering our homes, we've got the normal du'as that we recite. Along with that, we should try to recite the Durood Sharif, and along with that, we should also try to recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. So inshallah, these are the virtues of Surah Al-Ikhlas. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to understand this surah and the lessons that's learned from this surah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen our tawheed, strengthen our iman, protect our iman, protect the iman of our children, and give us the ability to take Quran as a means of guidance for us and accept our gathering. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to practice upon what has been heard and what has been said, and forgive for any mistakes that has been come from my side. Allahumma ameen. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati mimma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahim. Jazakumullah.